I mean, he's a wizard. If not in this situation, when is magic ever useful? What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Orlando Mortel and this is Mortel Dynamics. So last time we read chapter 5 of The Hobbit, where we met Gollum, that nasty stuff, and today we're gonna continue chapter 6. So please subscribe to this channel so you can help me make more of these videos every single week. So without further ado, let's go. The chapter starts, first of all, the chapter is called Out of the Frying Pan into the Fire. And it begins with Bilbo, he already got out of the mountain, away from Gollum and the goblins. He's now thinking if he should go back and try to find the dwarves, because at this point I had forgotten about the dwarves already and about Gandalf. But he was thinking about going back to look for them when suddenly he saw between the bushes or something the dwarfs and Gandalf. And so because he had the invisibility ring on, I think he was trying to scare them or something. He got to them, as close as he could to surprise them or scare them. And he was listening to their conversation where basically dwarfs were arguing to Gandalf on why he brought Bilbo when Bilbo, according to them, couldn't do anything. And Gandalf, of course, was defending Bilbo and everything. Now I'm at the part where Bilbo is going to surprise them. So Bilbo surprised them, and they were all astonished about how Bilbo got out, how Bilbo got through the spotter it is? The lookout. So the lookout was Balin, B-A-L-I-N, Balin, and they didn't know that he had the ring. Bilbo never mentioned it. Basically, Bilbo described to them all the adventures except every part where the ring was an important part. For example, he didn't explain when he discovered the ring. He didn't explain how the ring was so useful in order for him to jump over Gollum to get out of the goblin's place. And there's a part where Gandalf asked Bilbo something, and Bilbo says something like, I wonder if he knows that something's wrong with my story, that I left something out. Now I am the one that wonders if Gandalf knows anything about the rings. And by that I mean, does he knows the theory? Does he knows the stories about the rings? Because I don't quite remember, but there was a time, I think in the last chapter, where Gollum mentioned something, I think, about the rings being like myth, like folklore, like something people talked about but no one thought they were real. So I wonder if Gandalf actually knows about them. Okay guys, so basically at this point, nothing major, nothing very interesting I want to comment on. But yeah, basically they went on with their journey. Apparently they are very far from their path, or very far from where they were supposed to be to, continue to their destination. They were still talking about their stories, about what happened after Gandalf disappeared with a pop. They were talking to each other, all the excitement about what happened, how they disappeared, about how they got away, and about how Bilbo got away. Bilbo hasn't eaten in like 3 days. He's like very hungry, but they need to keep going because that's another thing. Apparently, goblins can smell their steps where they stepped on grass or dirt or whatever for hours. So they can track anything for hours, and if they are not far enough, goblins will definitely find them. So yeah, they have to keep going. In this story, are wizards is magic something you utilize to, I don't know how to pose this question. So it comes because Bilbo is saying, I'm basically very, very hungry. I haven't eaten for 3 days. But Gandalf is like chilling. I don't remember Gandalf bitching about something. Does he need to eat? Does he feel pain? They portray wizards here like they are gods. I mean, I'm just curious about how wizards manipulate things or manipulate their own things and emotions. Or basically, I'm curious about how powerful are wizards in this world. Okay, so they got to a point where the moonlight was not helping very much. They began hearing wolves. Bilbo got scared real quick and he was bitching about something about wolves eating them and everything. And I was reading and I'm like, this guy is just cries so much. Then Gandalf gave them an alert and told them, and it says he cried something like, "Up the trees, quick!" And so then I took Bilbo seriously, like, okay, I mean, wolves are real close. They began climbing the trees as fast as they can. Of course, again, they left Bilbo behind. Bilbo, apparently he's so short. Apparently he is shorter than dwarves, because dwarves climbed the trees real quick, because wolves are coming, but Bilbo couldn't even got to the lowest branch of the lowest tree, you know what I mean? Wait a minute. First of all, again with the magic. If Gandalf was so powerful, again, I have no idea how magic works in this world, but couldn't Gandalf just make or provoke a piece of magic that kills the wolves, or something that just protected them from the wolves without just running like a normal human? I mean, he's a wizard. If not in this situation, when is magic ever useful? I would have thought that magic is useful, to make you live and, get you out of horrible situations, which it already has, but it's a life-threatening situation. Couldn't Gandalf just be like, and they be protected from the wolves? That's something I don't get. Bro, wolves talk, bro. Guys, two things. First of all, why is the author explaining things like he's not at this point in history of this world, he's like in the future? There's a part where he says blah blah blah, but in those days they sometimes used to go on raids, blah blah blah. He's talking like in those days, as if he's on the present, and this story is very long ago. So in the Lord of the Rings story, is the author speaking or narrating from the point of history from the other books of Lord of the Rings, or is this just part of this story? I don't know if I'm explaining myself, but if you guys can help me in the comments, please explain this to me. And another thing, apparently goblins and wolves work together because they're both evil, so sometimes goblins travel in the back of wolves, as humans often do in the back of horses. Wolves were going to have a meeting with the goblins, but the goblins are late, and the book says that apparently it is because, the great goblin is dead, so probably goblins are, trying to figure out what they're gonna do now. Eagles? So all animals talk in this world, because we learned that wolves talk between them. Eagles talk too. Oh, there's a chief wolf, and apparently there's a lord of the eagles. Although I don't know yet if he's an eagle himself, or if that's a human that it's called the Lord of the Eagles. Okay, so goblins are laughing at the wolves bitching about the fire. Gandalf didn't know what to do about the danger that the wolves represented, so he got a lot of pines from the trees they were in, and lit them on fires from different colors. I mean, blue fire, red fire, green fire, and he threw pine on flames to the wolves, so the wolves burned, and they were, you know, howling, they were bitching, they were screaming in their own language about, you know, they were hurting, they ran away, blah blah blah. Spots in the forest caught fire too because there wasn't a lot of rain. It was a mess. Everyone wanted to know what was happening. I got to know now that the Lord of the Eagles is not a human, it's a real eagle. He got more eagles. They went down to the place where everything was happening because apparently the wolves howling and bitching about the fire was heard in the whole forest. Even the goblins got out of the cave and came to the spot, and when they saw what was happening, they started to laugh about the wolves, you know, making a show about the fire. You know what I mean? Apparently they have a plan to get Gandalf and the others down from the trees. I don't know if they're gonna cut down the trees or something, so let's see. The songs that goblins sing are sadistic as hell, bro. I mean, they talk about hair smells, skins crack, fat melts, bones black, bro. Okay guys, so they're up in the trees. You know, I told you the wolves were down. Gandalf was throwing fire to them. Apparently the fire was just, you know, going to get them because the goblins were making, you know, their own mischief so the fire wouldn't spread to the wolves or to them, but to the trees that the dwarves and Gandalf were in. But apparently Gandalf is friends with the Lord of the Eagles. The Lord of the Eagles and the other eagles got the goblins and Gandalf by the talons, dropped Gandalf and the dwarves in a cave in a place in the mountains where the only way to get there was by flying. They got them food, and now they're talking to Gandalf so they can fly them out of the mountains as far as they can, you know, so they are out of danger. There's this map at the end of the chapter 2. I don't know if you guys can see it really well, but apparently it's about the mountains, or the mountain where the goblins were, and yeah, basically a map of the whole story till now. So guys, this was the end of chapter 6, which was out of the frying pan into the fire. So basically magic works in weird ways, because the way Gandalf is described is that he's a very powerful wizard. Magic doesn't work in a way where he could stop wolves from getting to them. What's the use of magic then? You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know, maybe magic is not that powerful in this world, but I really don't know. I mean, I have no idea. I'm just guessing. Another thing I learned here is that animals talk. So wolves have their own language. Eagles have their own, I guess eagles have the same language as humans, because when the author described the wolves talking, he described them as they were talking in their own language. But when the author described the eagles talking, he didn't make that distinction. You know what I mean? Bilbo could understand the eagles, and Bilbo doesn't know any other language that I know of, or that the author explains. So yeah, basically at this point, the dwarves, Bilbo and Gandalf, meet trolls, they meet elves, they meet goblins, they meet Bilbo meets Golem. Now they meet wolves, eagles, and apparently wolves and goblins are friends, and eagles and Gandalf are friends. Again, I'm at the same spot as in the last chapter, where I don't know exactly where we're going, but I feel the author is just giving us a lot of information till something bigger. You know what I mean? So guys, that was it for chapter 6. Again, thank you for staying with me. Please, if you have anything to say about my reaction, anything that you don't agree or that you do agree with, please leave it down in the comments below. If you're liking this content, please subscribe to this channel so you can help me make more videos every single week. If you haven't read these books or even watched the movies, guys, don't watch these videos. It's just gonna spoil you. In any case, go back, read the chapters, watch the movies if you want, and come back and see this video and the others. So guys, that's pretty much for chapter 6, and hey, see you in chapter 7. Let's go!